Hello, my name is Troy Parker, President of Innovative Labor and Cleaning. Now I would like to talk to you about mental health. A lot of programs will talk to you about hiring returning citizens, but sometimes they don't want to mention things that could be seen as negatives. Being incarcerated has an effect, whether you were in there a year, 2 years, 10 or longer. I know for myself, when I returned to the community, got counseling after being in a situation where you're 24 hours a day, concerned about your safety, and you're not able to truly relax. But you truly don't realize how tense and stressed you've been until you're released into the community, because it becomes a habit. I didn't realize how little things like how close someone stood to me made a difference. Now, had I came out now during COVID when everyone's 6 feet apart, it would have been a lot easier. But I remember going to a restaurant, and I mentioned this story in another video, when a gentleman behind me, when I was standing in line, walked pretty close to me. Now, it's normal distance out here in the community, but in prison, you have to remember everyone stands, 3 to 4 feet apart. One, so that no one can come up and, assault you, or if someone else is getting assaulted, you don't accidentally get hit. It seems strange to you, but after 7.5 years of being incarcerated and learning these types of rules, you don't just forget them when you return to society. So I mention this so that keep in mind and have an honest conversation with any returning citizen that you might, consider hiring. Ask them, how are they doing mentally? I mention this so that when you're hiring someone that is a returning citizen, you also look either through maybe some type of test, or maybe having them sit down with someone to assess their mental health and any needs they might have. You will find that if you take the time to get them the help or direct them to where they can get help, it will pay off in the long run for both of you. Also remember, many times employees that come in that are returning citizens sometimes feel they have no mobility. They get a job and they tend to just stay there because they're like, whoa, I finally got a job, I'm never quitting. This can be a blessing and a curse. I've seen companies take advantage of this and more or less tap into the returning citizen population because they know they can exploit them by either paying them low wages, working them long hours, and not treating them like they do other employees, because they know psychologically these people will feel like, well, I can't get another job, and if I just quit here, then I don't even have a reference, so then I have the gap from being in prison, plus I quit this job or was fired, so they'll keep quiet and just stay there. You want an employee to feel that they have the same ability of advancement as other employees. If they feel that they do not have the same advancement as others, this can turn into a negative situation. Always look at the skills that any employee can bring to the table. I'll be honest, when I went to prison and how I got the ideal of starting my company is I saw many people from many different races and walks of life that had numerous talents. Even people who did not think they really had any transferable skills, say somebody who was in for a drug conviction. Many times when sitting down with them, I would see how, even though they were in an illegal activity, they did have to look at inventories, weights and measures, pricing, their market, where they might look at it as, well, I'm just a drug dealer, I don't know anything. But many times they have many skills that if they were used in a legal way, they could help either establish their own business or help another business owner. So keep in mind, many times you could be sitting talking to a person that has a lot of skills, but just because they're in the mindset of, hey, I'm a felon or I have a felony, that they might not look at it that way and articulate it in that manner. So in interviewing these individuals, it is key to try to find out a little bit about, one, what did they learn while they were in prison? There are certificates and training that they can take. So my suggestion when I consult companies that are trying to, tap into this pool of labor is try to find out as much as you can about the employee. Now, you can't ask a lot about their criminal conviction. Now, I have a benefit because I was formerly incarcerated, and people know that. When people come, they will talk openly. So I will be able to tell, like, okay, this guy, he might have done this crime, but 9 times out of 10, he might be good in these areas and have these skills that he doesn't know. Because many times when we sit down in groups, we'll talk about what we did when we got convicted, and then we'll talk about, well, what's transferable. Well, many companies out there, you're not going to be able to do that. So we have an advantage. But try to find out what you can with the employees willing to tell you about their past, and then you can connect the dots. Returning citizens are a gold mine of talent if you harvest it correctly. If you just go in there with a shovel and just, scoop them up and not show any care, well, it's not going to really work out. But if you treat each person individually and based on their own character and their skill set, you will find you can develop a great program working with returning citizens. I hope this information has helped you. And always remember, to build a strong community, it starts one job at a time.